Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the PHNX Rising Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. I'm Ramon Chavez, joined by my good friend Owen Evans, my other good friend Max Simpson in the house, in the brand new studios. Let's go, guys.
Let's go. Yeah.
Don't get too hyped.
It's different. It's a bit bigger than we used to.
The camera's a lot better, so I look worse. So that's not good. But I'm happy to be here. How you guys doing today?
It's been a week.
Has it?
Yeah, for me, yeah. It's been a week for me.
I clearly didn't get the jersey memo either. So.
Yeah, you didn't get the jersey memo. And I hear there was some jersey news that dropped today, wasn't there?
Yeah. It's already kind of been leaked for about a month or two now. U.S. men's national team kits. They're really something, all right. If you haven't seen them yet, they essentially look like a high school team's training top for both home and away. I'm wearing this one out of protest because this is one of their better.
Nice.
This is one of their better kits. This and the Waldo one are truly some of my favorites. But oh dear gosh, like the ones that they release, they're not good. I'm sure you've seen them. If you haven't, they're just. Ugh,
the plain white t-shirt and the tie-dye.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's okay. It's okay because myself and Ramon are just sitting over here laughing at how bad they are because we've got actually nice kits.
They're okay. Yeah. So shout out to Nike, making the worst kits, not putting any effort into it. But all right, y'all, let's get into it. It's going to be a great show today. Obviously on Saturday, Rising have a huge away game in San Diego against the Loyal. It's going to be a crazy one out there. It's a lot of stuff happening on the 17th. You got not only Rising San Diego, but you also got the Triple G Canelo fight. That was going to be fun. Some good stuff going on around the world of soccer as well. So it's going to be a busy day. But it's a huge game for Rising. It's going to be insane. So we're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to see if we have any team updates from Owen here and also take a look around the USL. Yesterday, a couple of days ago, there was an exciting 6-hour council meeting that happened.
That's the first time that has ever been said.
It was a 6-hour council meeting.
That's the first time it's ever been said, an exciting city council meeting.
There you go. So and Owen sat down. He was, with all the meds from the surgery. He was watching it, taking notes for y'all. So we're going to get the update from him. And also, FIFA 23 is coming out, and I'm not sure if you guys are huge gamers, but I think it's always good to look at the ratings of at least the top players and see, what controversies we can come up with.
Well, I think that we all know that given that USL's on it, eFootball is clearly the superior product.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But we'll take a look at it as well. Yeah, shout out to Harry in the comments. We got Michael as well. We got Pat Moses. Oh, FIFA's trash. Okay. Yeah, everyone's got
Thanks, Pat.
Some football managers.
Football manager is a good use.
There you go. All right, y'all. Let's talk about San Diego. It's gonna be a crazy game. So, Rising faced San Diego way back in March. It was like the third or fourth game of the season. San Diego came to Wild Horse Pass. They got the W there. It was actually a really exciting game. I looked back at the highlights. It was a back and forth thriller. Ultimately, San Diego got the 3-2 victory there, but since then, I think both teams have kind of taken different directions. San Diego's on top of the Western Conference table. Rising, not so much. So, what are you expecting to see on Saturday?
I think, if we look back at that game, we need to kind of remember what that game was. And it was almost the early warning signs of what was to come, okay? That along with the Vegas game in those first few weeks, it was a sign that something just wasn't right. Because did Rising fight their way back in? Yes, but the way they fought their way back into that game was through one man in the midfield, realistically, who had just that one spell where he kind of picked the team up on his back and helped them there. Luis Manuel Sejas. Now, we've seen that at other parts in the year as well, where he's just kind of picked the team up on his back and carried them over the line at times. But in this case, look, they played well for about 10 minutes, and then it was just poor. The goal that they gave up to lose it was just, where was the defending? I mean, in a lot of ways, it's kind of symptomatic of a lot of what we've seen from Rising this year, that they can show up for spells, but they can't show up for an entire game, and that has been their downfall.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, that game so long ago in the season, and like you said earlier, Ramon, like they have taken two completely different directions, these teams. It's almost, in my mind, you kind of throw that game out the window just because I don't even know how much relevance it has, in completely different rosters in some ways, different systems. And I mean, I'm kind of worried we might see a bit more of what we saw in the last game, kind of just magnified. I mean, a lot of the ways how, Oakland presses on the counter, San Diego exploits that space in behind. A lot of similarities, and that was with a healthier defense last time around in Oakland. I'm pretty nervous about how the backline's going to do this time around.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a thrilling game for sure. And we were able to speak to Juan Guerra earlier this week on his thoughts on San Diego. So let's take a look at what he had to say about the Loyal.
San Diego is a team that I enjoy watching. San Diego is a team that we play a very similar style of play, and also a very similar game model. And it's definitely going to be a good game. Obviously, they have a bigger room for mistake than we do, but I don't see that as a bad thing. That means that we have to go over there and we have to be hungrier. We have to go over there and we have to be more aggressive. We have to be more intense, but we also have to stay very organized. There's a team that wants to keep possession, stretch you to be able to play through lines. And then after they play through lines, they create spaces that then they attack with a lot of speed and intensity, similar to the things that we want to do. So it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna take absolutely maximum effort, maximum concentration, and we have to make sure that then we execute well. Because this last game, at times, I saw sparks of good soccer, good connections of passes and playing through lines and going from one side to the other. But then sometimes we're getting to the attacking third, and we were not executing well once we were in the attacking third, and that was creating a lot of transition moments for Oakland to attack with the speed that they had on wide areas. So we had to make sure that we avoid that, because now we're not going to be playing at home. We're going to be playing on the road. And this is a team that is vertical. This is a team that is dynamic. When we're defending and they win it, if there's spaces, they have players that can hurt you. So offensively, we want to make sure that we go at them. But then defensively, we have to be very aware of the things that they do well.
Well, you know what? Just hopping off of that, I am going to slightly redirect into the chat here. Pat Moses making one comment looking at Loyal here, saying that they're better now than they were in the first match. Now, in some ways, fine, but you also have to look at their form lately, and their form is atrocious coming into this game. They've won just one game in their last 5. They have lost the other 4. Now, some of those, okay, San Antonio, you lose that game. I get that.
Away
That's a
from home
tough game.
too.
Yeah, away from home against the team top of the conference, fine. But Monterey Bay, Oakland, Birmingham Legion, okay? These aren't necessarily world beaters that if San Diego want to prove themselves as a title contender, you have to win against those kind of teams. You really have to be picking up the points in those games. So they're on a bit of a slump at the moment running towards the playoffs. I'm not sure quite how they're going to come out almost. That's what's intriguing for me here.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you watch those games, the way that they were beat, it was shaky at best. I mean, like there's so many runs in behind, over the top, very, very easily gutted by the long ball, and a couple of them, my gosh, like you have their defenders for Loyal were just getting out-muscled by defenders. There was one against, I believe it was Oakland, where one of the runs straight up airball brings it into chest, and he just straight up shoves off, goes in for a goal. Another one, they just got scored off of Olympico. And whenever that happens, again, not a soccer expert, but I don't think that's a good thing if you can get scored off by an Olympico. It's just been very shaky, and I think something where their goal differential, I mean, they've got a plus 13 goal differential, but in these last couple of games, they've been conceding, 3 in a piece. Not great.
Yeah, definitely. And that San Antonio game, if you look back on it, they were able to get a penalty in the game, but Jordan Farr, one of the best keepers in USL, was able to stop them. So I know Harry was happy to see that result happen. But yeah, San Diego not playing at their best right now. And I think this is a good thing for Rising. They can definitely catch them, especially at home, get some points there, and come away with at least a draw, a victory, something to keep them in the playoff hunt. Because right now, if they suffer another loss, I know we've already said it a few times that, hey, this season's pretty much done. But if they can just earn a few points and some results go their way, they're still in this, and they can do it.
Yeah, and look, I think that the key thing is getting the ball past the midfield. When you actually look at the statistics, San Diego wins the ball a lot in the midfield. It's Alejandro Guido, it's Colin Martin, it's Jack Blake. Those are the guys who are winning possession for this team. If you can get it past them, you can create chances against this San Diego team. That is the challenge that Rising has going into this week.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is similar to, I don't want to keep making comparisons because they're completely different teams, but the way how we looked against Oakland, there really are those similarities where that's how they got beat. That's how they got beat by Oakland as well, where they pressed them in behind. They're making those long runs. We really can win the aerial duel back there. I saw against El Paso, they were getting absolutely dominated in the air. And these are against guys who are, 6 feet at most. They just were getting out-jumped. Their back line cannot handle our aerial threats. We put in JJ Williams up top, start him from the get-go. That's my personal recommendation, because he would just, you saw how he ate it up against Oakland in the second half. That, to me, would absolutely cause a threat against them.
Right, and I agree that the aerial threat is the way you want to go with this. My one concern with it is that throughout the season, we've seen that Phoenix Rising can't execute the aerial threat. The number of times that we've seen, okay, you got a big target man up top, we got to throw him the ball, get it in there, try and get ahead on it, and they just can't do it.
Yeah. Well, the issue, I agree if we're talking hey, you bring it down like we saw last game, bring it down the touchline, try to mix it in. Absolutely. Where San Diego has been very, very vulnerable in these last couple of matches is it's been balls from center backs, from defense. You're playing these 40, 50-year-old balls, which, you're going back to, elementary soccer. They say that's not what you're supposed to do, but it's been working against San Diego, and they are very vulnerable in the air to those long balls. I'm not sure if they seem like they're playing a high line. I'm not sure what it is, but they're not only getting out-muscled, they're just getting in poor position, and they're able to get through. Again, I agree. Let's not drive it to the end line, but let's play it in and spray it out from the back.
I think that's an interesting one, because it does go against what we've heard from Juan, what he wants his game plan to be, which is a more possession-based style. At the same time, he's kind of hinted at times that, look, we want to be versatile. We want to be able to change it up when we have to change it up. So then when you look at that, is he going to change it up this weekend? If that's the way to counter this San Diego side, is that what we're going to see? Are we going to see him try to go to those long balls, to a more vertical style of play that in many ways is what Rick Shantz would have done if things were working? Back when things were working, that's kind of how the Rick Shantz system looked. You would play those longer direct balls, and they would do it with a good amount of success. Will we see that this weekend?
Yeah, no, and I agree with all those points, but I think it all starts, and I think Juan Guerra pointed to it at the beginning of that clip that we played, is it starts with intensity. They need to be intense from the get-go. They can't, against Oakland, you saw them get scored on pretty, easily and early in the match. And so if that happens again, you're out of the game already. We've seen that Rising cannot overcome those deficits when they go into halftime. So if they can get on the board early, they can have some sort of lead, play their game. That's when Phoenix can be more successful, more dangerous, playing their own game. But if they go down 1 or 2 goals at halftime, I think it's a wrap, And we saw it against Oakland. We've seen it against numerous teams this season. So they need to put, be the aggressor, be the team that's going to be, attacking, especially if you have someone like JJ Williams up top, get the ball to him. I know they haven't been successful this season, but if they do that, they can be a dangerous team.
Right, and just to piggyback off of there, we've said it a lot of times this season, but I've got the exact stat here. Phoenix Rising has gone in losing at the break 9 times this season. They have lost all 9 games.
Well, and I will say as a counterpoint for San Diego, also falling behind in their last 4 losses, they have conceded 5 goals in their last 4 losses within the first 45 minutes. And technically one of them was the first minute of the second half, but still 5 goals in 4 losses in the first 45, 46 minutes. You can't have that, and no wonder they're losing as well.
Yeah, for sure. Let's continue with San Diego talk. Who are the players that Rising fans should keep an eye on? Obviously, Kyle Vassell, one of their leading scorer for San Diego Loy, but is there anybody else that Rising fans should keep an eye out on Saturday?
Thomas Among. I don't think he's necessarily the best finisher at times, but when you actually look at the chances that he creates, you look at his XG, there's a clear gulf between Thomas Among, Kyle Vassell, and everybody else. So keep an eye on him, because he will get into dangerous positions, and if he can finish them, you're in for a bad game if you're not paying attention to him.
Yeah, and I'll double up. So looking out wide. So Nick Moon and Evan Conway, they're 2 outside mids. First off, Conway, actually a bit of a scorer. He's bagged 2 goals in his last 3 games that he's played. Both of them really, really, really good at facilitating from the outside, whipping in those balls, not just driving to the end line, but actually even more so, they like to play the ball deep from their own half space, bring it over into the corner, and play those strikers in who are making those runs in behind. And I think that's very difficult for Rising, who they're already used to getting stretched in from behind. If you're able to get those through balls in through those center backs, thread the needle through that midfield, we've already seen it was a long day against Oakland, and in recent games, I just think that trend can continue if they don't pick up on them early.
And it's where some of those creative guys like Nick Moon, like Evan Conway, like even an Alejandro Guido can be so dangerous here, because Rising centre-backs just haven't at times felt like they've quite kept up with the pace. It's almost like they all look a bit sleepy, and we're going to see a very different, perhaps, back three to this coming weekend, because, of course, Joe Farrell's out suspended because of yellow card accumulation. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how they approach this game, because again, if they can kind of carve up that back three, Rising's going to be in for a very, very bad Saturday evening.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun. And, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I think their midfield too, talking about guys like Charlie Adams, Alejandro Guido, who scored, the defining goal during their last game at Wild Horse Pass. So that midfield works hard, man. They want to control the ball. They want to regain possession. If they lose it, they're always chasing after the ball. They never give up. And that's something, a stark difference from the Rising midfield. So that's something to keep an eye out.
And then, of course, there are other players involved as well. You look at Kyle Adams. You look at some of the Elijah Martin. Is a really good player at the back. You look at even guys they've got off the bench. There are some who have played at a higher level, and look, I don't feel as though you're going to expect a storming performance exactly out of the guy that we've seen brought up in the chat quite a few times there, Andrew Carlton. But I am expecting to see that he's got talent. We know that. He wouldn't have played at the level that he had prior to this if he didn't have talent. He's just got to actually execute that. And I don't expect him to do it in any regularity. I don't think he had a particularly great season, but off the bench, if you're looking for someone for 10 minutes, there's a chance he does something.
Well, I think a guy like that, even though he is a known name, even if he's having kind of a bit of a, I would say, kind of hot and cold at times, he's one of those guys where if you don't account for him, he can show up, not unannounced and kind of just be there when you least expect it. And those kind of hitting guys, man, they can cause a lot of chaos and really make a name for themselves.
Yeah. So for sure. So make sure to keep an eye out for those guys on Saturday. Let's talk about Phoenix now, guys. Owen touched on the fact that Joe Farrell's not going to be there this Saturday, so that's going to put a lot more pressure on the defense. So who do you think is replacing Joe Farrell? Is it Sarhis? Who is Juan Guerra going to rely on to fill in that spot in the back line?
I could see Hayden coming in. The other alternative, when you're looking at it, you try and fiddle around a bit more with Kev Lambert maybe dropping back, but then do you want him in the midfield? That's where the problem is. And it's something that we brought up so many times this season. When Kev Lambert drops back, yeah, he's good as a centre-back, but do you want him back there? That's almost the problem. Do you want him as a centre-back, or do you want him as the defensive midfielder, where he can be so critical in the midfield, winning the ball, causing issues for the opposition before they even get into a position to really launch the attack?
Yeah, like I said on Saturday, I like him back there. The issue is you then sacrifice within the midfield, which has already been a bit of a touchy area already. It's, again, and I'm not trying to be a coach's speaker or anything like that, but this really is going to take, I think maybe you buckle back a bit defensively, right? I understand you need to win this game. You need to score goals early. But I think we've seen in previous games that they're spread out on offense in a shape as a whole. There's a massive gap between the front line and the midfield and the defense. Maybe it's shoring it up a bit. That way you can negate a bit of those long runs, force San Diego to ping it around rather than trying to play those long balls that they want. It's not going to be any one defensive guy's effort. It's the entire club.
Yeah, no, I agree. And let me ask you guys this. Would you oppose with Lambert being in the back, maybe Musa Sarhis, and having Seijas and Quinn in the middle, just kind of doing their thing. Like I feel when Seijas and Quinn play in the midfield, Rising, as far as their passing and control of the game, I think it becomes a lot better. So if Lambert's in the back, at least for just this game, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I mean, I just don't know who else would be a suitable replacement in the back. So I agree.
The only thing I would say there again is that when you're looking at a midfield in San Diego's that win the ball as much as these guys do, you have to be in that midfield battle, and then perhaps you do need to look more towards someone who is also going to get stuck in someone like Kev Lambert to be in the middle of the park.
Pat
Niall
Moses
Dunn.
I keep seeing him in videos, man. Hopefully he gets some playing time this season. But yeah, we'll see.
Or maybe he'll be on the bench. Look, if Rising goes with a back three of Hayden Sardis, James Musa, and
Kev Lambert.
I was going to say Marcus Verkrantz. He's probably not left yet, is he?
No, they're going to leave next week. Yeah.
So yeah, he could well be. That could well be the back three. What other centre backs have you got? Kevin Lambert can do it in a pinch. Would you put Niall Dunn on the bench? I feel we'd have been more likely to see it if James Musa had been sent off on the weekend, which, in honesty, he probably should have been.
That one slide tackle,
I mean, the one slide tackle was one thing. It was probably a red, but I can just about justify it's a yellow, but it's a breathe wrong and you're off kind of yellow.
Yeah.
The problem is that he then broke up a promising attack 2 minutes later, and no foul was called, but he absolutely should have been, and he should have picked up a second yellow for that. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and let's move on to the, now that we're talking about the lineup, let's move up to the forwards. Max wants JJ Williams. I like Greg Hurst, but I think given this game, I think JJ Williams is the way to go. What do you guys think?
I think JJ has to be the starting centre forward. Now, whether Greg Hurst has a role in the team, perhaps as one of those attacking midfielders, kind of, you got the two of them there that aren't true wingers. They're a bit more inside, aren't they, in this formation? So maybe he's got a role in that kind of a position, but yeah, it's JJ Williams up top, surely.
And I mean, I say JJ Williams. This is not any slight on Hurst because he played a nice game against Oakland.
First 45
I have
minutes.
no problem with this as a player. The thing that you have to work with is it's a very volatile part in the season where you are working through two different extremes. On the one hand, you are pushing for a desperate push for playoffs. It's very, very slim, but you gotta score goals and go with your right matchups. On the other hand, you're Juan Guerra. You know that you are building not just for the season, but you are looking to slowly implement your system and the right players over time. And as much as you want to do this, you got to push for playoffs. You got to fight for that. And even if JJ Williams maybe isn't that's going to be my number 9, I don't know, the majority of the time, you need to play him because he is your best matchup against San Diego.
But here's the question, right? And it came up in the chat earlier. If we're talking about a team that's going to play more direct in this game, do you go with two up the top? Do you try and have JJ Williams and Greg Hurst playing off of him?
I don't. I hate it, honestly. And that's not a bad shout. I mean, especially you have JJ as more of the deeper up number 9, have Hurst a bit back. He played well off of feet. I can maybe see some 1-2s in there. I mean, then my question is, who would you like to sacrifice then out on the wide side?
I'm gonna jump on this one. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you're thinking Babu. I'm thinking Santi Moore.
Okay.
I'm thinking you put Santi. You replace Santi Moore with Greg Hurst. Santi is giving his space on the left wing to Babu. He's saying, Babu, go and do your thing. Try to get crosses in. Try to get into the box. And Santi is sliding in a little bit inside and playing those half spaces. So I feel like if you give Greg Hurst that chance, or even Arturo Rodriguez, I wanted this change in the game on Saturday against Oakland, letting him, kind of get the ball, create something. And we saw it during those first 45 minutes against Oakland, where if he's given enough time, he can get 1-2 touches, get by his defender, and create a play. That's not something we've been seeing from Santi. I'm going to be frank, the entire season and, these last few games. And at this point, it's critical. You need guys that are going to create plays, create chances, and get, Rising some goals, honestly.
You came out with that like it was a hot take, and I feel like we've kind of hit that point where everybody online, all these Rising fans online, are saying it's time for Santi to be benched. Look, we've defended him for a while, and I still feel as though he's a much better player than he's played this season. But when you're in this kind of a position, and you need results, you are getting to the point whereby you have to play the players that are not necessarily in form, but more in form than others. And right now, Santi's just not in form.
And again, it goes back to matchups. And I mean, I think there is space to exploit for him in behind against San Diego, especially if you're having, JJ and Hurst push up. But it's tough because you don't want to move on from a guy with that. But if you have to do the right thing and bring in someone who at least can give you a better matchup play. I don't hate it. Bring him on maybe in the center half as a sub. We haven't seen that in a bit. Not a bad idea.
The thing with Hurst, though, and I'll just jump to finish up here. I think when you bring someone like Hurst, defensively, his work rate, I think, could be improved. So when you make that change, I know Santi tracks a little bit more than Hurst does. So I think that would be my only concern if you replace Santi with Greg Hurst.
One comment in here just quickly to finish this kind of section here. Claudio Repetto wasn't on the bench in midweek. Do we want to see him on the bench come Saturday? Or in the squad, at least? Do we want to see him make the trip?
I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about Repetto, but about him at this point. I honestly like Antwi a lot more, at least from what I've seen this season. Antwi hasn't been given a chance ever since Juan Guerra got here. So, if there's nobody else, I think Repetto's by default the next guy. But I would like to see personally Antwi, but Repetto might be the next choice.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen him play consistently in quite a bit. I mean, I'll look, his minutes over the last couple of matches, 3 minutes, none, 7 minutes, 6 minutes. Like, he just hasn't played enough consistently. Maybe if he's going to make the squad, like, what are you going to do? You're going to sacrifice him and bring him on for the last, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes in a pinch. Like, you just haven't worked up to that play yet.
And I think the point, actually, you bringing up Antwi is quite helpful there, because if we're talking about a guy who's going to put in a 5-minute shift, it probably is Antwi, just because he's that bit more mobile.
Yeah.
He is a quicker player, especially when you're up against, as we've discussed, I feel, ad nauseum today, that this team does ultimately leak a bit at the back when you try and play those longer balls, when you're trying to be a little bit more direct. In that kind of a case, if you're pushing for a goal in the last 5 minutes, it probably is Richmond Antwi that you want to send out there. Yeah. Just because, I mean, we've seen him score in that kind of a style. We saw it against San Antonio. Sorry to Harry in the chat there. But we saw it against San Antonio where at the end of the game, he just ran from the halfway line.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of player that
that's what I like about him. He can make, salad out of, I don't want to say chicken shit, but he can make something out of nothing, basically. Like, that, you give him a chance, you give him a little bit of space, he's going to shoot at goal, and that's what you want from your striker. When Repetto comes in the game, I don't feel confident he can even get to a ball. I don't feel confident he can, play in the box or get by his defender. It's just, I just don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's just not the right guy, the right fit. But I would, like I said, I prefer Antwi a lot more over Repetto.
I mean, I think like since we're touching on the offense, and we talked about a bit, on Saturday, bit on Tuesday. Whoever is starting, whoever is coming off the bench, please. Shots, everybody. But like, honestly, like I want to test this keeper. He has cinder blocks for hands. He is leakier than a freaking frozen pipe. Like, he doesn't have good positioning. Their defense, similar to Rising, has not been good at closing down and stepping. I want to see us challenge him, and we haven't gotten clean looks in the last couple of matches. I want to see a challenge, and I think a two-striker system could do that, but whoever is coming off, that's what I want to see.
You know what? Actually, one last thing. Sorry, just about we were talking about Repetto, of course. There, Michael bringing up can't even defend his Twitter and Instagram. Yeah. So anyone who's been checking out Alan on Twitter, he owes me a PS5, by the way. This Alan, he told me that he delivers them very quickly, and I paid him in Bitcoin as he asked, but I don't know. It hasn't arrived yet. I'm disappointed. I'm gonna have to speak to Claudio about this because clearly he's in league with him.
We got to get to the bottom of this. We'll let you know. We'll keep you updated. All right, y'all. Before we wrap up this segment, what's your prediction for Saturday? I'm going with 3-1 San Diego. I don't trust this Rising team whatsoever. So I think San Diego's going to take it.
We've got Somber Ramon here today.
I'm back, baby. Yeah.
2-2. I don't think they're playing that well, San Diego. I think that there is a chance. I think that Rising's defense is leaky enough to give up 2 goals. But at the same time, it wouldn't shock me if they found a couple of goals.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you actually took my scoreline. I am an original, so I will not be taking that. I'm going to take, both teams have been leaking 2-3 goals plus in a lot of the recent matches. Maybe short up a bit. It's going to be a stretch game, a lot of shots, but maybe not as many goals. I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, these games, San Diego and Rising always have fun games. So I think there's going to be some goals scored, but hopefully, Rising can. Pat agrees with me. Thank you, Pat.
Pat agrees with you, but everyone else here is saying
else
Rising are going to win. Boys, what are you on?
You do realize that one team is second from the top, and the other team is second from the bottom. Again, form is everything. 100%. But both of their form is shit.
Look at the stat guy over here. Look at him over here. But yeah, let us know your predictions on the chat. Always appreciate that from you guys. So, all right, y'all. I'm a little quenched right now. We've had a great deep conversation about San Diego and Rising, but I noticed we all have our drinks here. You guys want to talk about your favorite Four Peaks beer?
Yeah. So what have you gone with there, Max?
Yeah. So I got the peach ale here. I mean, there's not really a bad Four Peaks beer out there. Tried them all. When our job is to drink, talk, and be on camera for it, and in my case also working with Four Peaks, it's not a bad gig. So I'm happy to talk about them, say nice things. I would also say some of their other flavors that I don't think people see often. They have the Day Drinker. It is a light beer. I'm telling you, it is like way better than any Bud Light, Keystone Light, Coors Light.
That's not hard.
It's not hard, but it doesn't taste like. I don't know if can I say piss on here? Piss? Yeah, okay, piss.
Come on,
yeah,
of course.
We don't usually cuss, but we'll allow it.
Piss, it's a crass term, but it tastes a lot better than that. We love Four Peaks, everything they do, and we do have a watch party coming up.
That's right on Sunday. We got the Cardinals facing against the Oakland Raiders, and so our PHNX Cardinals crew is going to be hosting a watch party over there at the 8th Street Pub in Tempe. You guys can purchase tickets to the event, and I believe you get one free beer.
Yeah, so $5 ticket. It'll get you one free beer, and you can watch on a 20-foot projector. I'm trying to do the math. I think that's like 240 inches. Math was my strong suit when I was in elementary school, not now. But a lot of good stuff there. They also have the beer specials per usual. It's just a fun time, man. We're all, I'll be there. I know producer Sean's going to be there. It's just a dang good time. Come on out.
I think we're forgetting about one key thing as well, is that we're giving away Cardinals tickets.
Oh yeah,
as well.
I did bury the lead a bit, didn't I? Yeah.
That's insane. If you guys, we'll talk about our sponsor a little bit. The other one, Game Time app. You've seen those prizes up there. Even though they hook you up with up to 60% off those tickets, free Cardinals tickets are still amazing. It's if you can go get down there, purchase that $5 ticket, get your beer, and also be in line for free Cardinals tickets, I think that's a hell of a deal. And you can also watch the Cardinals get that W against Oakland. Because
I was going to say it's another team in the Valley to disappoint you while you're waiting for Rising to come back.
Man. They're going to do better. I feel, Oakland wasn't that great either in the first week, so I think they can do it. But again, check them out this Sunday, Four Peaks Brewery. Check them out for the PHNX Cardinals watch party on Sunday. All right, Owen. All right. I feel like you're yearning to talk about something that happened on Tuesday. Yeah,
Tuesday. We're talking about Tuesday. We're moving in around the USL.
Let's do it.
By talking about some things that were happening in Irvine on Tuesday. We've obviously spoken about this in the past. Orange County facing threats against their stadium. Well, they have got their stadium now for next season based on a vote of the city council. They voted that they were going to let them stay there for 2023 under the existing terms of the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding that they were already working under. Of course, it wasn't too straight easy sailing. Look, we saw what was happening these past few weeks. Lots of questions about what was going on behind the scenes, the city staff, how they were negotiating with LA Galaxy 2. And things got quite nasty. Well, that was partly addressed, but look, it just wasn't that easy to get the very straightforward extend them for another year through Irvine City Council. Should we have a listen to some of the things that were said during that council meeting?
Would the staff be coming back to us in short order with its work at the next meeting, for example? Extending the MOU, I don't even know what the terms of the MOU are.
You don't win favors when you're accusing us of being corrupt. Not winning any favors at all. Like, it doesn't help. But I will second this. Moving forward. But we're here together. I need you guys to reflect and think about the words that you use in accusing myself and my colleagues of really awful things. And I will be honest, I don't know enough about soccer to be corrupt, even if I wanted to be.
Yeah, I feel like that doesn't paint them in the best light, the council. Look, we need to be quite clear here. The funniest things here, right? The one council member who doesn't know the terms of the MOU, like, you're one of 5 people on this council. For God's sake, look them up.
Isn't that your job?
It's like a 2-page thing, okay? Look it up. And number 2, then coming out with, favors? Trying to argue that you are not corrupt. And I'm not saying these people are, right? They are realistically not. They might well be incompetent, but I don't think they're corrupt. But you don't come up with favors when you're trying to defend yourselves from being corrupt, do you? It doesn't win you favors when you call someone being corrupt. What are you on about?
That is so weird.
So
when you add favors with politics, it just makes you look really bad.
Yeah. And I don't know enough about the sport to be corrupt. Really? I don't think you need to know anything about the sport to be... What is this? Look, at the end of the day, all it seems to show, I think, is the sad state at times, to be perfectly frank, of local democracy. Not just in this country. We can look much broader. Local democracy in general is, in a lot of ways, a bit of a shambles. There are a lot of people who I don't think are quite as qualified for those jobs as they seem to think that they are. There are... look, at the end of the day, Cammy Tim, the second speaker there, the one who was bringing up the, you're not going to earn any favors kind of stuff. They touted on her election that she had won the most votes of anybody to the council. She had less than 20% of the population of Irvine voted for her. Like, it's a reality here whereby these people, I think, take up these positions and don't fully understand all elements of the community. It's why a lot of them all have very kind of similar backgrounds. They're fairly high-level professionals, right, when they get into here. In Cammy Tim's case, she's proudly touts that she's a small business owner, It's just a bit of a disconnect almost. I
think it goes to show that it's kind of mind-blowing that levels of this sport and all sports, not just soccer, is determined at the local level as it is, and you see it unfolding in this way. Imagine if this same conversation, but it went the other way. You'd be absolutely outraged of what did we just listen to? It's just kind of perplexing. I'm trying to even find the words to kind of summarize that. This is how little I think people can be tapped into. You see some city councils that it seems like they have a really good pulse of what's going on, of the teams, what the ramifications and everything that it means. But Owen, I know you did some fantastic reporting about it, but it just seems like it was just in shambles from the start.
Yeah, and look, I think Harry's actually on the money.
I think Harry has
here.
it on point right there.
Yeah, the Irvine Council at the end of the day were not prepared for the fact that when you make unpopular decisions, when you're involved in unpopular discussions, people get heated. This is what you took on. This is your job. Right? You went in for this. This is a job. That's what you signed up for if you're getting involved in politics at any level. At any level, there are things that people will find that you are doing that they don't like. Yeah. And they're going to be heated about it. That's just how life is.
Yeah. No, it just does not paint a good light on them. And if they're getting upset about people actually voicing their voice and saying, hey, we don't want LA Galaxy 2 here. This is the team that we won. The way you're going about it is even worse. When you're called out about it, you get upset, then, that's, look at yourself in the mirror for a second and then get upset at yourself. Yeah.
And what almost gets to me the most out of all of this is that there's all the discussion there, of course, about, look, we're not corrupt. You've got to turn the tone down. You've got to do all this. There's no actual addressing of any of the questionable things that were found. There's no attempt to provide reasonable rationale to the public. Yeah. There's no attempt to scrutinize what the city manager and the staff, because the mayor of Irvine admits in this meeting the city manager hasn't met with the city of Irvine. Other members of the council, the vice mayor, Anthony Quo, said that he had met with the OCSC, but the city manager hasn't met with them, and that was the mayor admitted that in the meeting. There's no real scrutiny of what the staff have been doing that would give the impression to the outside world that something dubious is happening there. There was no attempt to clarify that whatsoever. So why are they shocked?
Maven's Keep kind of hits it on the head here. That's how you play off corruption. Super condescending with no rational rebuttal outside of ruffled angst. It was funny how they were like, it just kind of summed up like they didn't know what they were talking about, right? And they
didn't even read the MOU.
They didn't even read the MOU.
And like they were
One
like,
job.
He's like, I just show up on Tuesday, y'all. Like, y'all let me know what you need.
I show up, I got a nice parking spot. Like, I'm
Wait,
great.
y'all are mad?
Don't forget the free coffee and donuts.
but it's like, is it too much to expect of a politician to like not let how the public is treating you influence your decision and just make decisions off facts and stuff like that? Like, she was like, you're not winning. You're not asking yourself anything. And like we were talking about before the show, no non-corrupt person ever has been like, we're not corrupt. Like, as saying that you're not corrupt makes it sound like you're corrupt.
Not great. Three things. Number one, ruffled angst. That's like a phenomenal, like, alternative rock band name. I just want to throw that out there. That's how my brain works. Tell me I'm wrong. Number two, I mean, from start to finish, just doesn't pay yourself on a good lie. Yes, not only, you have issue with someone's tone. Oh no, you're essentially pleading incompetence and you don't know enough to actually make the sound decision. But number three, if you understood the ramifications, what this had for two different fan bases, for an entire community, for an entire city, this is how historically, maybe not exactly through like a city council like this, but this is how grassroots soccer gets stifled because people don't understand how much this can impact a community from a growth standpoint, from a revenue standpoint, from everything that is able to develop, what a soccer club means to a city. And for what? Yeah, it's bringing in, it's money, but I think it's just when you have that, it comes down a bit to greed and just not knowing who your audience is. And it's just incredibly tone deaf on their part.
It is. And it's just that attempt to kind of police the tone of something that they, even by their own admission, don't really understand. And that's almost where the problem is. Just, I mean, there's so much you can fall behind on in Irvine naturally when it comes to a sporting perspective. There's so many different teams there. I'm sure you couldn't pay any attention to the one professional team of note
the only
that
one they
plays
have.
there. Yeah.
So ultimately, Owen, they're gonna stay for 2023. They got a year extension, right? Or it was already in place, right, for them to stay technically.
Well, kind of, it would automatically renew, but now they're directing yes, it specifically should renew.
So are we gonna have to do this again in a year? Have Sean back as producer and talk about politics again, or?
Well, here's the thing, right? They as part of this motion, it was okay. We need to agree one more year under the current terms of the MOU. We need to then follow that up by actively working on what comes next.
Okay.
And actively working on what comes next now so that it's in place in a reasonable time frame. The reason, and look, there seems to be a lot of negativity towards the club in that meeting. A lot of people who are more focused on community use, because as we know, the community definitely needs to use a 5,000-seater professional sports venue for everything. Yeah, I know that's exactly why you build it. It's exactly why you use it. All 10 people that go out to watch whatever pointless game they want to put there, it's definitely needed. But there seemed a lot of animosity almost towards the club, and I think part of it came from the tone, as effectively is what they were all saying. So I'm not sure if outside of an understanding that they had to make a decision now, because if they didn't make a decision now, no team was moving in there. I don't think they'd have necessarily given it to them. But they were panicked because they were effectively put up against the wall by multiple parties. Galaxy wanted it sorted by now, and Orange County wanted it sorted by now, so someone had to ultimately prevail.
Gotcha. So yeah, we'll keep you updated with all the situation. Yeah, it's always fun to dig into stuff like this. I wish they were
sit for a 6-hour cast. I tell you what, if I don't hear more people talking about some international school in Irvine and some asphalt factory in Irvine, I'll be in a much better place. But the asphalt took up far too much. People brought videos about this asphalt thing to play in the council meeting. You know, what else they had? They had about like 3 or 4, like we had to sit there as they played these glitzy videos about long-serving police officers at the start of the council meeting. It was...
It's a joy.
Yeah, I could have just slept through most of it, but I made the bad decision to watch it.
You wanted to watch it. You love this stuff. Don't lie. All right, y'all. Let's talk about our friends at DraftKings before we talk about the games that are happening this weekend around the USL. Right now, there's a promotion for new customers with DraftKings. So if you bet just $5, you get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings with the early win promotion. And the early win promotion, what that breaks down to is that if you bet on any NFL team to win, and if your team leads by 10 points at any point during the game, you get paid instantly. It doesn't matter if your team loses that game. So it's super simple with the early win promotion for you to get some money with DraftKings. So make sure to download the DraftKings Sportsbook, use promo code PHNX. And again, that's promo code PHNX on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And there is a game tomorrow, right, with the USL?
Yeah, there is a USL game tomorrow. Let's get it up. There is a USL Championship game tomorrow. It is Memphis 901 against Charleston Battery. So, I feel like the obvious answer is Memphis.
Was it a plus 500 for Charleston?
DraftKings is flat out telling you it's going to be Memphis. It's a minus 235 on Memphis if you want to go for them. Plus 450 for Charleston Battery. And plus 370 on a draw. Let's find something here that's actually interesting. Because that is not an interesting bet. I feel like, let's look at the spread. How many are we going to see Memphis win by? Multiple goals. So minus 1.5 is plus 115. If you think they're going to win by 3 goals or more at plus 280. Or if you think they're really going to pile on the misery. And you go with a minus 3.5 spread there. So they're going to score 4 goals.
No, I don't think so.
Plus 600. You don't think they're going to win that by 4 goals? Because Charleston aren't very good.
When in doubt, take the draw.
Does Friday count as midweek USL for the sake
That's what I
of
was just going to say.
bizarre results?
No, I think Memphis gets the W. Maybe a 2-0. 2-0 victory.
You going with 2-0? 2-0? Okay.
Ramon, to
Okay.
make you happy, I did take Man United losing today in a parlay. And
Against Sheriff, man?
Listen,
they beat Real Madrid last year.
You never know what's going to happen at home in these international competitions. Like you said, Sheriff, they beat them at the Bernabeu.
Their actual badge is a Sheriff's badge.
Is it Sheriff?
There's a snake in my boot. No, but you never know what's going to happen. And to be fair, I think it's still early in the season. Do I think Man U are frauds? No, but I don't trust them in international competition. But you won because they did as well. I lost my parlay. I lost my chance.
Me happy.
So there you go.
There you go.
Back-to-back days, Spurs lose and Man U wins. It's
you know what? No. I was going to say an actual serious one here. If we're going to talk about UEFA, right? We've seen 2 rounds of the Champions League. Who do you think at this point you would put your money on to win it?
Man City.
You go with Man City. So Man City are plus 200. They're the favorite at the moment.
PSG maybe.
PSG at plus 500. They're in second.
I would say PSG.
Go with PSG.
Real. No, Real with Benzema injured. Listen, I never am going to count them out. And to be fair, the favorite in this competition, I feel rarely has won these past couple years. PSG to me is the boom or bust. If they have all 3 guys clicking, which they have, they all scored together against Maccabi Haifa for the first time ever. If they are clicking, I don't care how shaky their defense is. How are you going to stop them?
Yeah. Their midfield is a lot better this year. That's why I trust them a lot more. I think they're clicking. I know Mbappe got his money now, so he's happy. So I think they can make some noise this year.
I mean, everyone else in who, like, other than Man City, who else is really going to challenge Man City and PSG? Bayern, Bayern, they won against Barcelona, but like kind of shaky. Plus, they're shaky in Bundesliga. Yeah. Gosh, like I said, Benzema's injured. We'll see how that carries on. Liverpool, absolutely in shambles. Like we'll see. I don't really think anyone outside those 2 at the moment are going to make a legit run in that.
Yeah,
we'll see. It always throws up surprises.
Yeah, it does.
Always does.
Let's take a look at some games really quickly on Saturday for USL. Any of the games there kind of stand out to you? I'm curious about the Monterey Bay against Indy 11. Those 2 teams are kind of playing well. Solomon Asante's playing well for Indy 11, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Solo. We're mentioning him again.
Got to touch on him.
He did have a trio of assists last weekend, so very good performance by him. But yeah, they're up against Monterey Bay. It's interesting, I think, from Rising's perspective, Monterey Bay, how they're going to go into this one, because if they keep winning, then even the slim chance of Rising making the playoffs to me is disappearing.
Come on, Solo, do us a favor for once for Rising. Come on.
Yeah, and of course, this is the thing. Monterey Bay are on much better form overall, even than Indy lately. They picked up a very good win last week, yes, but they're still struggling overall. Some of the other games actually that are intriguing to me here. San Antonio hosting New Mexico. New Mexico have been a little bit here in freefall recently, and it's a very classic New Mexico. This is what they do. New Mexico can't seem to actually keep things going till the end of the season. They've done this regularly. So, I don't know. We'll see, won't we? If San Antonio at home there should win in that game. Yeah. But it's interesting. New Mexico are going to have to turn around soon if they're going to have any hopes going forward.
Well, if they lose on Saturday and El Paso gets the W against Galaxy, El Paso can jump into, is it fifth place? So, yeah, it's going to make things a little bit more interesting. In the
Another
West.
game that's intriguing me here is Hartford hosting Las Vegas Lights. Why? Because it means Vegas are actually going to play this week because it's not their stadium.
Their game is rescheduled against Monterey Bay for the September 27th, from what I saw. So next Tuesday, I believe? Or
it's week Tuesday.
Yeah, there you go.
Week from Tuesday. It'll be the day before Rising plays in Sacramento. But yeah, that one, what a mess. What a mess, the circumstances of that game. One other one to touch on, I think, especially on that Saturday there, RGV hosting Colorado Springs. Springs have picked themselves up lately, right? After a run of real poor form, they've picked themselves back up. Can they keep it going? Again, it's one of those ones where even if Rising, we've said frequently, it's really slipping out of the hands now. Any hope, you've got to see those kind of teams dropping points. And in this game, you really need Colorado Springs to pick up a win.
Yeah, I mean, RGV, 3 wins in their last 5 matches. And if you're going, I mean, you don't go off goal differential, you play to win the game. But they would be 7th in the table if you're going off of that. Maybe peaking at the right time, fighting in for that one of those last spots. Yeah, you definitely want to see Colorado Springs come through. But I am also curious about that one.
Yeah, it should be fun. Fun weekend. Some interesting games on Sunday as well. Sacramento Republic against Orange County, so that one should be fun.
Here's the question, actually, from a Rising perspective, LA Galaxy 2, El Paso Locomotive. What do you want there? Because I feel like it has to be a draw.
Yeah, a draw is what I would be leaning to.
Yeah, I would.
Or El Paso, actually. If they can take New Mexico, then kind of New Mexico falls into their position in a way.
But New Mexico coming into it from a higher position. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was going to say definitely a draw, but I would say El Paso winning would be the most opportune for that.
I feel as though a draw is probably just it kind of keeps a lot of the mess in one place there. El Paso aren't pulling away. Galaxy 2 are not really making any advance.
Yeah, we'll see for sure.
But of course, the real result is a Rising win this weekend.
Yeah, that's definitely what we need. What we also need right now, I think I'm feeling a little bit chill right now, so I do want to talk about our friends at OGs. If you guys haven't yet, I want you guys to go to our website, gophnx.com, and enter the Flavoring Life sweepstakes. If you are the winner, you'll receive 3 bags of OGs, including orange creamsicle and tropical flavors. Now that we're in the office, I'm going to try to get some. But you can also get an OGs hat, a PHNX shirt of your choice, and a PHNX annual membership. And again, the way you can sign up for the sweepstakes is by going to gophnx.com or by clicking the link in our show notes. You want to say something, sir? My bad. I thought you were pointing at me.
No.
I thought it was Owen. He can't.
I was like, where's that
That's
finger
typically
pointing?
my cue to shut up. So.
No, you're good. I mean, I ain't got much to say. I mean, OGs hits the spot. Like, I'm seeing RD in the chat saying, I'm just hoping Rising won't kick the ball into a teammate's face. Well, if you do, I'm not a doctor, so I guess I can't legally say this, but from personal experience,
That's
I feel
a bad way to start.
it's just like the city council.
I can't legally say this, but
anyway,
that's how you got shut down,
I'm not off the record, of course. He says on a recorded podcast and live video.
Dr. Max, what do you have to tell us?
I think that if a Rising player does get hit in the face by a teammate, I believe OGs would help with that quite a lot.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Juan would agree with you. Well, I'm also uncertain as to USL's drug testing policy, but
yeah, probably fair.
They can chill, we'll see. All right, y'all. But if you do want to purchase your very own OGs, you can go to their website, ogsbrands.com. Follow them on Instagram at OG's Brands, and you can also find their products at your local dispensary. And remember, you must be 21 years or older to purchase. All right, y'all, we got a few minutes left, so I'm just gonna I was gonna do a whole segment on the FIFA ratings, but I'm just gonna ask you what you guys think the rating is.
Why are you hiding the rating? Oh, you're asking us
I'm
what
gonna
we think
ask
they
you
are.
guys. Yeah,
I've just seen half of them now.
I'm gonna
Max can guess. Max can
All right,
guess.
let's go with Max. Who's the #1 rated player in FIFA 23 this year?
Dude,
Who do you think?
I literally just saw this the other day. Gosh darn
He's
it.
Googled FIFA 23.
Don't do it. No, that's fun. Owen, we're trying
He's cheating.
I don't have it pulled out. No.
This is fun, Owen. We're trying to have fun.
Let me
We don't
collude.
have fun.
Let
Have you
me
seen Phoenix Rising this
collude.
year?
Gosh.
Plays in Spain.
Is it? Wait, is it not a tie?
No. Well,
Ser-
technically, no.
Oh shoot. Is it plays in Spain right now? Is it Benzema?
Yes, sir.
Shoot.
Rated 91. You know who's the second one?
Oh gosh. Is it Kevin De Bruyne?
Kind of close. Actually, Lewandowski is actually #2. So then you got Mbappe, De Bruyne, and Lionel Messi is 5th this year. So, but I can't talk any smack because Ronaldo's 8th in the overall ranking. So
That's way too high.
you think that's way too high for Ronaldo? Dang.
Yeah, dude, he doesn't even play regularly.
No. Let's see. Neymar. Let's check it up to Owen here. What do you think his rating is this year?
Oh God. Based on the numbers you've got on there, I'm guessing somewhere around, I don't know, 89.
Yeah, you saw the freaking.
I didn't even
player.
guess. I didn't even see his. I'm just guessing where they are on the list.
All right, yo. We'll talk. You know, someone mentioned Erling Haaland in the chat, so I'll let you guys guess. What do you guys think? I know you didn't see this one.
I didn't see this.
I didn't see it either. I'm gonna say he's probably a little bit lower because he's kind of, I don't know. He's been a thing for a while, but he's like really been on fire only the last like month or two.
Yeah, he's just making fun of the Premier League.
He is.
at the moment,
I mean, for that Champions League goal against Dortmund, that was insane. My gosh, I would say he's an 87.
We're going with Michael's guess on there, 87. Let's do it.
Actually, not super close. Actually, so 88.
88.
Okay,
Okay,
I think that's fair.
All right.
I think that's fair. It's
Give
his
it
first
close.
year in the Premier, so if he continues the way he's playing, definitely. So yeah, FIFA 23 coming out next week, so check it out. And yeah, what was the question there with the Rising? What would Rising have as a FIFA rating?
Above 40.
Above 40?
Oh, good question.
Well, second tier. It's not like that would be that bad.
No.
I don't know. So here's what some people will tell you, and I've had a Rising owner mention this to me. Apparently, if you look up some of the stats, they reckon that they're not that far off a League One. So if you look up what the players are getting in League One in England, that's what they seem to think is the rough comparison.
There you go. Nice comparison there. All right, cool. This has been fun, y'all. But I do want to talk to you guys about the Game Time app if you guys haven't downloaded it yet. I know we talk about it here on the show, but if you haven't, make sure to check it out. You can use the link in our description if you're looking to buy tickets. And the cool thing about using the Game Time app is that you can get up to 60%. Save up to 60% on tickets when you buy the tickets last minute, and it's a great deal for all the procrastinators out there like me. So if you love PHNX, you'll love the Game Time app, and this is the best way to support us. So make sure to go on the show notes, click on the link, and use that link to purchase apps on the Game Time app. Any other stuff, Max?
Nah, man, you hit it.
Nice.
I feel like we've got to
A couple
toast
more
our toast the fish show,
First show here
in the new studio. That
Our
we've
producer
had.
have one, yeah. Sean, oh, he threw it in the trash.
He's
He
right.
finished it. He killed that. He killed
You
that.
can't see it, guys, but he was reaching in to try and get the bottle back
It's been
out.
a long show. I
I've been done
understand.
for like 30 minutes.
All right, boys.
It's the thrill of the council meeting, making them drink. All right, y'all. That is it for us. We will be back on Sunday with the live post game show. Owen, San Diego. Is that where we're gonna be?
San
We'll be
Diego.
partying over there. All right, y'all. So yeah, we'll be
Thank
back
God
then.
the train strikes off because I'm getting the train to Monterey afterwards.
Oh, fun. But yeah, check us out on Saturday. Max, myself, and Owen will be back. Thank you so much for joining us today on this Thursday night. Have a lovely evening, and we will see you on Saturday. Take care.